Hi everyone, it's Adam with Baton Rouge Lacquer Studio, and today I'm going to be taking you through the process of painting this Ming style coffee table with a high gloss green. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, I start off pretty much every piece that I paint by cleaning it with a crud cutter or a similar degreaser and then rinsing it with water. I'll usually use some kind of abrasive sponge just to kind of help remove any, um, you know, sticky substances or anything like that that might be on the piece. Typically, I'll start sanding with 180 or 220, and this is really just a scuff sand for adhesion, but it kind of serves two purposes. And I'll usually try to sand everything flat with the orbital sander that I can on um, this first pass, and then primer is more just for build and to kind of get a even smoother and slicker surface. Also, I'll use a surf prep for the curved and profile surfaces, or I'll just use a hand sponge and sand it by hand. So the primers that I use change somewhat frequently, but usually I use two. I use a BIN shellac and I use Centurion 1107 catalyzed. It's a water-based primer. For the BIN shellac, I keep rattle cans, and before I start the real priming, I'll try to kind of spray some of the areas that I sanded down to bare wood, and that just allows me to use less coats of primer to get to where I need to be to start painting. So after I've done a round of priming, kind of spot priming, filling, sanding, I'll move on to mixing the primer. And this is Centurion 1107 water-based primer that I'm going to be using for the first coat. It's usually the first coat that I will use. And you catalyze it by 10%. You just mix the catalyst in by volume or by weight. And then, if you need to add some water to spray it out of a cup gun, you can. But I don't really do that. I just use the airless. A 312 tip works fine. So whenever I'm doing my final round of filling and priming, I usually like to use a light to just make sure I've got everything. So this is going to be my first coat of emerald urethane. It's a high gloss trim paint that I'm using, and I had it color matched in the kind of very popular Fine Paints of Europe bottle green, but it's not actually Fine Paints of Europe paint. I just had it matched. So I flat sanded this piece with 1,000 grit after I was done, and I waited ample time, usually about a day and a half, to sand it so that you don't see any sanding scratches or anything like that. I used a 312 on both coats to spray this paint, That's a pretty good tip size. It's about the smallest tip size that the data sheet is going to recommend. And here the piece is. It's finished, and I got it staged and got it listed on Facebook, and I'm hoping to sell it soon. If you're interested in this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.